Welcome, guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
How are you?
As always, it's your boy, Chunga. You know where you can find me on my Instagram. It's _BOD_FIT. I'm here with my co-star.
Chandani Kumari Hamira Nikamuninsalge Hangalapola. You can find me at C_10penny, C_TNPENNIES, because 10 pennies makes a dime.
Wow. I'm telling you guys, I will never get tired of that. That's amazing. Right, we are here with our special guest. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. She's awesome, by the way, so let's go ahead.
Thank you guys for having me. Tiffany Aflabi Brown, born and raised in the Maryland area. Actually went to Howard University, studied psychology, allied sciences, now work in the healthcare field.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that.
Of course, you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
I'm gonna discuss a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna do the 5-finger questions of death, so Tiffany, you're gonna be in the hot seat for a little bit, okay?
Okay, I guess let's do this.
Okay, so first question. What is one thing about yourself that you wish you could change?
I think that's hard because I hope that I'm always changing a little bit.
Good answer.
Right?
Good answer.
But right now, working on a little bit more consistency in my life.
Okay.
You know, you say you want to do something, you say you want to have certain goals, just making sure that you're doing whatever that takes on a daily basis to hit them.
Right.
I'm the kind of person who's like, it's been about 3 days. I'm right. So, you know, just keeping consistent. in my
Okay.
life, yeah.
Okay, nice answer. Okay, second question. What is a nasty habit about you that is a secret and that nobody knows about?
Right.
I guess, I don't know if people I think it's kind of gross. Okay, anyway, your mouth probably has the most bacteria in your whole body. So I used to bite my fingernails, like to the nub, like not to the like, oh, it's not good, but like really bad, okay? And I don't do it no more because I wear other nails. So I don't have to bite them anymore.
Okay.
So
Well, I mean, if you bit acrylics, I don't know how them taste, but you know, yeah.
Okay. All right, third question. What's your hidden talent?
ooh, hidden talent. I would say that I like to do makeup, but then people are like, oh.
That could be a talent.
Yeah, I like to do makeup.
Yeah, that's
On
a
me,
hidden
nobody else. Like,
That's
not
a
for
hidden
anything else. Is that a, yeah, that's a hidden talent.
I think that's it.
Yeah, I think
not
so.
everybody knows how to do makeup,
Yeah.
so okay.
And some people who do makeup.
Did you do your
don't
makeup
it.
today?
Yes, but I am by no means a professional, so that's just something I like to do.
But she looks bomb, guys. She looks fire.
Thank you. I'm learning yours. Okay. Next question.
Next question is gonna be for me, and we just kind of get a little spicy, kind of get a little more personal. We just want to find out when was the last time. First of all, are you single? And when was the last time you got it on?
Wow. I am single. That's hard to say only because it has been a while, but probably a little more than 10 months.
10 months.
I am celibate by choice, not for any other reason.
Wow, that's a great
Shout out to you.
Yeah, just
awesome.
personal reasons. So single.
Okay. So if you did have a significant other, what would be one of the, what quality would they have to have for you to feel like you're in love, or for you to feel like, this is the one?
I think for me it's personal growth. I think that
That's amazing.
recently I found such a value personally in just educating myself, reading, and just working towards the best version of myself. So when I think about a significant other, somebody else that I really would care to spend
share time with
is somebody who's doing the same with their life.
Personal growth is amazing, which is and that kind of just leads us into what we want to talk about today, you know what I'm saying? And the topic is the 5 what is it again?
Five love languages.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's not something that I'm completely like, really knowledgeable about, which is why I'm really interested. I'm kind of like a spectator right now. I want to kind of know more about it. You know what I'm saying? That's something that might help me. We're here trying to help other people.
Yeah.
That's bringing you on might help me out, right? So which is amazing. So we're gonna kind of give you over.
Okay. I think it's awesome. I know that when I read the 5 love languages, it was the first step in my like personal development journey, or whatever you might call that.
Yeah.
And I think your perspective is really awesome, because I think that most people think they understand what the 5 love languages are.
Yeah.
Physical touch.
Right.
We're talking about acts of service,
Right.
gifts receiving, quality time, and
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation. And a lot of people think that they understand what it is and what it means.
Yeah.
And problem is they might not know how to use them. So your perspective is very unique, and it's
Okay.
probably going to be helpful for a lot of the people listening in for the first time.
Definitely. No, I respect that, seriously. For those of you who don't know, The 5 Love Languages is a book actually written by Gary Chapman, and he describes what the healthy aspect of love is in relationships and how you can avoid conflict. And sometimes he pretty much gives you insight on why things work and why things don't work, and how everybody has their own love language, and how it's time to figure out, yours.
Yeah.
So for those of you who haven't read it, it's a great book. It's a quick read too. Gary Chapman, again, The 5 Love Languages. So let's start with the first love language, physical touch. Again, disclaimer, this is not just about boyfriend, girlfriend relationships, but also about family. It could be with friends, whatnot. Relationships are all around. It's who you're connected to, right?
Yeah.
Left or right. So our first love language is physical touch. All right, so let's see. I know a lot of us, when we think about physical touch, we automatically think about sex, and that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
it can be sex, but there are some people who always want to be around, and that could be, that touching feeling. Like there are some friends who are quick to hold hands, right? Some friends who are quick to hug. Some friends who are, they like that physical touch, and that's a key factor, an important part in a relationship. And so sometimes when you're with somebody, and things aren't working, you're wondering, what's going on. Start to investigate and figure out, what makes you happy. Because the way that I may love Jerry is not the way Jerry may love me,
Yeah.
right? We can receive love differently, but we can also accept it differently. Well, we can also give it differently as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is your love language? Let's
Right.
start with that.
Oh, okay. That's pretty easy. My love language is quality time.
Okay.
I think that when, like you said, your relationships, not just your, sexual relationships, familial relationships, friendships, are all connected to what your original love language is. I think physical touch is probably a funny one, because I think a lot of guys think that they are physical touch.
Right.
What about you? Are you a physical touch guy?
I would say I do like physical touch, but I think for me, to be honest with you, is words of affirmation. I think that because of the type of personality that I have, I like to make sure that other people are kind of like in a happier mindset when they carry on what they're doing, right? So I feel like for me, words of affirmation definitely something that stands out to me a lot. Physical touch, I think everybody likes that, but in different perspectives, you know what I'm saying? So.
Okay. Definitely as somebody who is very good at encouraging people, right? You work with people, both of you guys work with people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And in the kind of field that you guys are in, encouragement is really big. Do you feel like you're able to get that in your lives as well? And is it as important it is for you guys as it is for some of your clients or people you work with?
I would definitely say I think it is important. With a lot of clients that I have, you have to kind of read them. Some people will be very, hey, how are you? And the moment they reach over, okay, grab their hand. They want somebody to, either vent to or speak with. Other people are a little hesitant. They're intimidated.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where words of affirmation come into play. Like, you can do it. You're here for a reason. Like, I believe in you. If nobody's on your team, I'm on your team.
Yeah.
Even with us working, there are some days where I walk in and Chunga automatically senses something is wrong with me.
What's wrong?
And But because, and it makes so much sense as to why your love language is words of affirmation, because you're able to give that out in such a strong way. The people that we deal with on a regular basis, even people that we meet, you know, just randomly, learning and kind of discerning how they are and how they move also shows you, kind of prepares you how do you speak to them and how, you know, how you talk to them, how you communicate with them. And a lot of times we get so hesitant, you know, when some people come into the room, you may not want to hug them, you may not want to offend them, but again, you may want to say, okay, like, I have a bottle of water. That's receiving gifts. You know, if they receive it, then okay, that's the direction you want to head in. So it's pretty much picking and choosing and seeing. You got to pay attention to the people around you, and not just the people you work with, but the people in your life, your family members, you know, your brothers and sisters, people in your local church, people, you know, down the street at the CVS you go to every Friday night, right? So
let's kind of break down a little bit from your perspective, each one of these, and we'll start again with the physical touch thing. I want to kind of hear your perspective on that.
From my perspective, and this is just kind of my opinion, also based on the book, I talked a little bit about how the longer the relationship, the less that some people feel like they need to use this or exhibit physical touch toward their significant other. And I think that is such an interesting topic because it's how you develop your relationship. You know, it's something as small as, like you said, when you walk into a room, just putting your hand
on that person.
On that person. Maybe even doing it in front of somebody else, you know, in front of friends, acknowledging that even though there are other people in the room, that you appreciate them. So, I mean, is this something that you guys do in your relationships? How's it worked? Or is it something that you're like, oh, okay, maybe I need to, you know, hold their hand in public a little bit more, give them an extra hug or something like that?
I mean, I feel like physical touch, that also brings it back to how people receive love, right?
Definitely.
Why we're here. My significant other might not receive love as far as like me physically touching that person, you know. So I mean, it is definitely used. I use that for me in moderation as far as like situations and setting. Right, it's not every setting where you need to be on that person.
Good to think about for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely say from experience, I learned that physical touch was one of my love languages only because it was something that I didn't get like that on a consistent basis. So I'm very like touchy-feely, and I'm very touchy-feely, and so, you know, shout out to my ex-boyfriends. They're crazy, you know. Ain't nobody thinking about them. But you know, we would be in public settings, and I would just like I would just want my hand held, or I want an arm around my shoulder, and I would never get that because the type of guys I was attracted to, but that was also because the love language I received growing up wasn't really what was supposed to nurture me. It was something that my parents, you know, that was what they were used to. It wasn't something that helped me become the woman I was. I mean, obviously, but so yeah, that was one of the ways that I learned that physical touch was one of my love languages, because that was something that I was like, you know, that I really admired. Like, okay, just a small grace, like just a small touch, right? Just touch me in public. But yeah, if you notice your significant other, or you notice a friend or someone around you is getting an attitude, maybe, you know, and you guys are out in public, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, you know, your girlfriend just shuts down. Maybe it's because you haven't held her hand, or maybe it's because you haven't put your hand around her shoulder. So try that out and see. So maybe that might be it.
I love that you touched on the kind of relationship you have with your parents and the kind of love that they gave you. Because I think that until I read this book, and until that I'd had a conversation with my dad, his love language is actually acts of service. And it's so interesting because, as I said earlier, mine is quality time. So growing up, very early, I have 3 other siblings, so it was just like me and my dad. So we used to go golfing together, we used to have all this fun time together, and I was the only one who could do stuff. The rest of them were in diapers, so. And then at some point he felt like he needed to be the absolute provider, absolute kind of authority figure, and that meant that he was going to do whatever it took. And so for him, he would remodel our house. You know, he would take us places, take us to our games and our practices.
Right.
And I remember talking to him about it and being like, hey, growing up, like, I just wanted us to hang out some more.
Yeah.
And him not really, he was like, you know, I showed you guys love by doing all these things for you.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh wow, it wasn't that
He
didn't love us. He was loving us the way he knew how to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
And if I can recognize that, even though he wasn't able to fulfill that when I was younger, as an adult, I can look back on it and it's like, wow. When it comes to acts of service, he did so much.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I can appreciate and be super grateful because just because I didn't receive it then, understanding these kind of love languages and how he works, I'm like, wow.
Right.
I might not have understood it back then, but I do.
But now you do.
Yeah.
So let's go into words of affirmation and how are you able to use that in your life? And we know it's not your love language, but how are you able to use that?
I think in the kind of society we live in, where social media is like tons of likes, tons of comments.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? You can tell that some, like, people get gratification when people say nice things to them.
Yeah.
But because of social media, sometimes we don't actually go up and say it to somebody in person.
Yeah.
Right.
The kind of feeling that you get when somebody smiles at you because you weren't trying to get anything from them, you weren't trying to do anything, but you're like, wow, I really like that about you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And because you did that, you could have brightened their whole day.
Yeah.
Some people have not received a compliment in person or maybe at all in their life for sometimes years.
Right.
So when you have it's such a small thing to be able to be, hey,
which is crazy.
Something about you.
And you know what? I'm from Cameroon, and I remember waking up in the morning every day, and everybody. I used to walk to school, so everybody that you see on the street, you have to say good morning.
That's
they're looking at you like, what? You walk past them without saying anything. They're looking at you like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Who
Right?
raised you?
Right? Who raised you?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So like for me, like in the United States, being here for as long as I've been, like I walk past people sometimes, and it's like you're a shadow or like you're invisible or something like that. You know.
That just made my blood pressure go up.
When you're in front of people, speak. Don't be weird. Speak.
Right.
Because it's even weirder. Like, have you guys ever been in an elevator?
And
no
oh
one
my
speaks,
God!
And no one speaks.
Everybody's standing like
That's
this.
so annoying.
Everybody's like,
press 3, please.
I actually do not like elevators.
But it's so sad because it shows you like where our generation is. We're in a generation where we blatantly ignore each other. We walk past, we're so selfish, and like unless you have, and it's so funny that you said your father's love language is acts of service because so is mine. And where's your father from?
My dad is from Nigeria.
Okay.
So you guys are
so you're first generation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, what I noticed too is that a lot of first generation Americans here, right, our parents came, like they put so much work getting to this country that acting out and making sure that their family is taken care of is such a priority. And so because of that, like that's one love language that sticks out, and it's like, okay, well this has to be done, and they're kind of low on the affectionate side, and I'm speaking from experience too. So it's like, you know, but when it comes to our generation now, we're so selfish. We can walk past somebody, we have an attitude, we just walk past them, not say anything.
But you know what's crazy?
Say good morning.
You know what's crazy? We do that, but then we expect all these likes and comments on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. So
when's the last time you complimented somebody?
In person.
In person.
Right. All right. Let's move on to the third one. Quality time. Quality time. We know you know so much about this, which is yours. Just break us down a little bit more.
Well, I think quality time can kind of be broken down into, and I can only use the example. Me and my friend grew up together, and she used to love to party.
Right.
And I was always DD. I know that's very lame. I was always that kind of person.
It's not lame.
Thank you. We had kind of a dynamic where she would always party and I would always be there taking care. And there started to grow a lot of strain. And it was because we spent all this time together. Like maybe 60 hours a week. We also worked at the same job
60
together.
hours a
we
week.
worked at the
That's a
same
job and
job.
overtime.
We went to high school together. We hung out outside of school. We went to lunch together. She had a car, you know. Whenever she was inebriated, we weren't spending any quality time together. Quality time is when you have basically undistracted time with someone. And if you're not there mentally, you're either doing something else. Hey, you know, somebody wants to hang out with you and you're texting on your phone.
Right.
I think people misjudge how rude it can be to somebody who, like myself personally, who values quality time, and they're trying to talk to you, or me trying to talk to you, and you're texting on your phone. It's very hurtful because, like I said, it's not that we don't want you to do whatever you're doing. We don't want you to enjoy yourself. But if we're going to agree to spend time together, we want it to be
spend quality time.
quality,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Have you guys ever like had a kind of situation where
Yeah,
you guys felt like
For sure.
Shoot, that's why we broke
I was gonna
up.
say.
Like, why get out of your phone?
Yeah.
But no, on a serious note, like you may in the moment you may not think about it, but we're so quick to pick up our phone when a tense situation comes up. You know, we can't live without our phones nowadays, and that's how a lot of us are. But you know, sometimes when you're doing that in front of your partner, it can get annoying. Ladies, fellas, like if you're out on a date or whatnot, just put your phone down.
Right.
30 minutes won't hurt.
Quality time.
Yeah, quality time.
with somebody. So we just gotta figure out how to really go back to how we used to be. Because I remember like we didn't have phones, and if we did have phones,
Dating
you had to
yourself.
remember phone numbers. You had to write phone numbers
to
down.
buy minutes.
You had to buy minutes, right? Where you at? You know what I'm saying? Nextel. So I think I think we gotta remember what's important a lot of the time, right? We didn't start with cell phones. We didn't start with anything else. We started with just communicating with each other, right? You didn't, you know. You could have met online through a phone, but when you meet, if that connection is not there, if that quality time is not there, then you're not gonna be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
That's real.
I think I like that.
And even one of my friends, she lives in New York. We actually went to college together, and we haven't seen each other in it's gonna be like 20 months this month. But every week without fail, we talk to each other Thursday nights at 11 o'clock.
That's awesome.
That seems
Aw,
crazy.
That's beautiful.
But I carve it out every single week without fail, and it keeps our friendship super strong.
Yeah.
Because if anybody else tries to call me, if I'm busy, I prioritize that because I realize, hey, if we're gonna keep a good relationship, there has to be communication. And like I said, quality time, even if it's 30 minutes. It's my drive home sometimes.
Right.
And it makes all the
Yo,
difference.
just you saying that, I just rekindled an old friendship with somebody yesterday, and we agreed on spending 10 minutes a week. You know what I'm saying? And you saw the friend that came in. She came into work.
Yeah.
And we didn't talk for like 4 months, 5 months, and then randomly, you know, we got in contact again, and we were like, "Yo, what happened? We were so close." You know, so what we did was, you know what? Every week, out of the 7 days, 24 hours a day, we're gonna take out 10 minutes out of one of those hours and just be like, yo, what's up? What's going on? What's new?
168 hours,
You know
10
what I'm
minutes
saying?
doesn't seem like that much time, right?
Right. You know, so I like that you said that. We're gonna move on to the fourth one, and which is active service. I think we already kind of touched about it with your dad and stuff like that, and I kind of understand that one, so we're gonna keep that one a little bit short. But I do want to just throw something in. I feel like my mom her love language is active service.
It could be receiving gifts too.
It could be receiving gifts too.
Because some people are too.
But if I'm like legit go to my mom's house and just wash a dish, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna tell all her friends, my son, oh my God, he doesn't live here, but he came, he saw dishes, he washed them.
My mom would love to take you home and adopt you.
God.
Is there more of you somewhere? Because my mom has 4 kids
man.
and she wishes we would come home and be like, well, we're just gonna clean your kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I plan to be paying somebody to clean my mom's house up.
My mom is gonna be like, where are you from? Why are you running? Why are you running? You know what I'm saying? Let's go into the fifth one, and which is receiving gifts. And I think everybody likes receives gifts, right? Don't you think?
I think so, but I think that the people who like receiving gifts, it's not just, and I think that's the kind of thing that this podcast is really awesome in doing. It's that it's evaluating that all these love languages are different for everybody.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily face value.
Right.
Like, oh hey,
right.
I just like receiving
Gifts,
nice shiny things.
Yeah.
People who genuinely, cause like you said, everybody loves gifts.
Yeah.
I don't like somebody got you something you want.
Right.
I'm not gonna.
Not if it's something you want, something that you might not have been like, but somebody got it for you. And you like,
does it come with a bow?
right.
Oh.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Okay. I'll keep the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Receiving gifts is pretty awesome because it can be something as small as a sticky note.
Right.
I know workplace relationships happen. I'm not saying you should do it or not, but leaving a little sticky note on somebody's desk, that's words of affirmation, but it's also gifts.
I love that.
You know, like it's a kind of a way of showing your affection to that person. And people who love gifts, again, it doesn't have to be big, it doesn't have to be extravagant, but just knowing that you're thinking of that other person.
Right.
This is really important. And I was kind of embarrassed to say this at first because I was like, I kind of like gifts when other people are around to watch me. Is that bad?
No.
Is that bad?
No.
Because I'm just like, I'm not like a huge flower person, but I said if flowers were delivered to my job, I'd be like, these
it might
flowers. You know, I could be so geeked and I'm like, I don't even like the smell of flowers, but these ones are mine. You see? I don't know if your girl is like that.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I just figured out what my significant other's love language is.
Oh, can you tell us?
You know what I'm saying?
Can you tell us?
I don't know. I think for her it's definitely quality time. Right? Because I shower her with, tons of gifts. I shower her with whatever I can. I work as hard as possible to just make sure that she's comfortable and what she needs to do, and you know what I'm saying? And that's just the type of person I am. I like to make sure that everybody's set up. If you're in my circle, we're under the same umbrella, right? So I think I just figured that out, and
She just did.
and look at how this just changed how I look at a lot of different things as far as like my relationships, right? Relationships with you guys, relationships with my significant other, relationship with anyone, relationship with Kenny, right?
Hey, Kenny, Kenny. Shout out to Kenny.
Right. And it's really the information nowadays is the age of the Ultron, which is all phones, right? Once we get back into just completely being human beings and just understanding each other, communicating, talking, like face to face, like facial expressions, not emojis, not filters, not none of that, right? I think we're gonna get back to where we were before, which is, and it starts with one person. It starts with just understanding that this is the issue. I think the biggest problem is that a lot of us don't understand what our issue is, and then we try to help other people. If you don't know who you are, how are you gonna try to help somebody else, right? This is why we have this platform. This is why we want these people to come on. Anybody that you have, if you have anything you want to speak about, contact us on our social medias. Leave a comment.
Email us.
Email us.
After9damn@gmail.com.
Right, after9damn@gmail.com, and we're gonna open it up. We're gonna contact you back if we feel like this is what we need to talk about. Then we will. Right? Please contact us. Right? We want to help as many people as we can, and if we can start with one, that's what we want, right?
Thank you guys so much for having me on tonight. I mean, for you guys who just are getting introduced to these guys, these are people who genuinely care about helping other people. This guy, this lady on a regular basis always sticking their hand out to help somebody else. When one thing that I said, I'm not sure if I want to be on camera. I'm not sure if I want to do this. But I said, the fact that your goal is to help others, and that's the sole reason for them creating this, is amazing. And I said I would like to be a part of something like that.
Thank you so much for coming on, Tiff.
Thank
you.
We want to bring you on again. I know we have a lot to talk about,
Sorry.
but you know what I'm saying? I know you kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to come on again.
We'll
but
see,
I
we'll
think
see.
you're coming back on. Guys, make this video the most watched video ever. So she can come
And don't
on.
forget to comment below.
Please, please. Thank you guys.
We love
Have
you
a good night.
guys.
It's
Mwah.
after 9.
Damn, that's good.
Damn, that's good.
See.
Ooh.